All right, Daniel, here we are. It's been a while.
It's been a little while, man.
It's been a month.
Why has it been so long?
Well, as you can see, I'm convalescing here.
Oh, yeah.
This is, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow since I had Achilles surgery, which I think
And you had your LASIK surgery.
I've had two. No, they weren't LASIK surgeries, Daniel.
Wow.
I had cataract surgeries.
What's the difference?
What?
What's the
It's
difference?
messed up. LASIK is when you can't see good, and they go in and they make a little slit in your eye, and it reconforms or reshapes your eyeball,
Yeah.
and then you don't need glasses. Cataracts are when you have a film that's developing over your cornea, like old people usually do. But mine developed pretty quickly, so I had in a week's time, I had both my cataracts removed. And then they put a little tiny lens in there, Daniel.
So they had to clean out your cornhole.
Cornea, right, correct. So I immediately could see better, and I think we touched on that a little bit the last time. But yeah, and then since that time, 3 weeks tomorrow, and I think you know me enough to know, maybe you do, that Achilles surgery was my number one fear. I've had so
Yeah.
many injuries in my life.
Oh, that's a big one.
And yeah, having the Achilles, I've always said for years, I'm like, anytime I'd see somebody who'd ruptured their Achilles and need a kill, I was like, holy shit, that is like my worst fear. Well, I didn't completely rupture it. It was only half torn, but it was still connected.
Yeah.
So he went in there and he cut me out. Did you see the scar, Dan? Have you
Yeah.
seen it?
It's badass.
He cut me open and made it like a little J incision. Mm-hmm. And then he went in there and he cut out a bunch of torn up fibers in there, and then he sutured it all together.
So like a knee scope. Kind of.
Yeah, a bit, yeah, because he actually took out material and
And didn't like sew anything or
he
reattach it.
sutured because it was right in the middle of my Achilles.
Oh,
So
he-
he like sutured the Achilles together.
Oh.
And then normally, well, not normally, sometimes if he removes too much material, they'd have to put a graft in. And he said that they didn't need that. So 3 weeks tomorrow, I can now put weight on it, which is a game changer.
Yep.
Because particularly when you're my size, Daniel, being on one leg is very difficult.
It's a game changer for a more important reason. And we'll get to that. I've got some thoughts on our bodies and how we heal.
Okay.
You know.
Well, it's healing. I'm going in Wednesday. I don't know if you've noticed this, if the camera can see, I'm in a Kobe Bryant boot. Have you heard of
look
Kobe
good.
Bryant? Have you heard of Kobe Bryant?
Yes.
Okay. He was a former basketball player,
R.I.P.
and yeah, Kobe, R.I.P. in peace.
Yep.
He developed this boot when he tore his Achilles, and every week I go in and they take a little key and they crank it up a notch to stretch my Achilles a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then hopefully in 5 or so weeks, I'll be out of the boot in a tennis shoe, hopefully.
That sounds like it could replace physical therapists.
Oh, you're playing with fire there, Daniel.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, did you notice that? Did you notice what I'm doing here? No beer, Dan. You know what this is?
It looks
You want a
like
drink?
a green shake. No, there's this thing called a pandemic, for God's sake.
I know what it is. I got my test back this morning. I'm positive. So just, I'm not happy about it.
What are you talking about?
Anyway, this is a spinach smoothie, mainly spinach.
Yeah.
Got some carrots in there.
Yep.
You add a banana, some naked green juice in there. Mm-hmm. And then usually a little scoop of fiber in there. Daddy's a little helper, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's good for you. I used to put kale in there, but I stopped putting kale in there because kale is not edible.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, I think we
might as well go grab some of that grass or something. You know,
did. Do you
just
see
like,
the hummingbird out there?
is it out?
It's right there.
Those
the
things
feeder.
are so awesome. They're amazing.
This is one of the reasons I put the
We're gonna have a flow to this, and we've gone home. Hummingbird.
I know. I'm jumping around. One of the reasons I set us up here, this is a new location for our recording, is A, so I can sit here with my foot elevated comfortably. But B, I was hoping there'd be some hummingbirds over here because, Dan, they've surprisingly made me happy. Yeah, you can put your leg up. I know you got it. What's
No,
going
I
on with
can't.
your?
No, we'll get to it.
No, but anyway, so yeah, so our viewers maybe can go, while they're watching us, they'll see some hummingbirds in the background. Anyway, this is healing. And I know that you are also dealing with an injury that your special blood is not.
Why? We mock what we do not understand, okay?
All right, Charlie Sheen. What's going on? Yeah, tell me.
Okay, first of all, I want you to acknowledge that you've seen a miracle when you saw my face
I
heal.
did see a miracle there.
Okay.
I did.
So, here's my point. I hurt my knee. I'm going on like week 4 now.
Okay.
I think. Might be week 3. It feels like forever.
Okay.
So, heard it at the gym in a,
A karate tournament or something?
yes. Well, we were just doing positional sparring. We call it King of the Hill, and I got caught in a leg lock.
Okay.
And I call it kind of dancing in the flames because I'm so flexible. I can usually, like, when I feel something coming on, I'll shift my hips and just change my weight, and I'm good at getting out of them.
Right.
But some guys are really good at getting them.
Right.
And it's just kind of like this. Well, I got caught in a heel hook / knee bar, and I felt it kind of, oof.
Didn't feel good.
So, long story longer, went by a week and got to the point where it hurt bad enough. I went to the doctor,
No.
Yeah.
Like an ortho?
I just went to the clinic.
Because a regular GP is not going to help you there, but...
Well, what are you going to do? Call the
call the
president
ortho.
of the United States?
No, you can go a few rungs lower than that and call an ortho directly and make an appointment.
Well, I was kind of hoping he'd just say everything's fine.
They're always going to tell. Yeah. But I got to say, I'm just impressed that you even went to a doctor.
Yeah. Well, regardless, whatever he did, he decided I should get an MRI. And
Have you ever had an MRI, Daniel?
Yeah. Had more than one.
I had 3 this summer, but go ahead. Sure.
Well, for a while, I just thought they're not going to call because he said they'll, depending on the insurance, they'll do this or that, And so for a while, I just figured they weren't going to call, and because my knee was getting better every day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and here's the thing, me, I never stopped and said, to a fault. But here's the deal, I also do it efficiently, like I can cut wood or whatever efficiently and icing it, but that blood flow to the wound, anyone, that's how a wound heals, is blood flow.
Right.
Then you put the special magic Wolverine blood, and
magic blood.
I think I'm on my way. But then they did call, and
you should get an MRI, Daniel.
Well, they scheduled it for September 15th, and I just thought, well, I'll go ahead and schedule it, but we'll see. I'm thinking it's probably going to be right as rain.
Torn cartilage doesn't just heal on its own, bro, probably.
It can from the outside, from what I saw. I researched it a little bit. If the tear's on the outside.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and I feel like it is.
It sounds like, Dan, the real problem here is pride.
You know what Marcellus Wallace says about pride. No.
It sounds like you should have tapped out.
Nah, well, no.
Had you tapped out, your knee would be just fine right now.
Well, I'll tell you something when the podcast is off.
Something private?
Anyway.
I just wanted to point out that our sound technician, who has a football game later on today, who was just complaining that his stomach is hurting.
Yeah, what's
just
in
got
it?
a giant bowl of leftover meatloaf.
Hey, I showed restraint with this, all right?
Marta made a mess of meatloaf last night. About 5 pounds of meatloaf last night and mashed taters. Because Cade's buddies were over here lifting, and she thought, well, I'll make a lot more in case they want to eat. Well, they didn't. They couldn't stick around. They had girlfriends or something they needed to see.
So you have a lot of leftover meatloaf.
Meatloaf is so good, yeah.
So the other thing, real quick,
Okay,
based on food, school started a couple weeks ago,
Right.
and I had ended last year doing this for like, I feel like it was 2-3 months when I was just doing plant-based.
Yeah.
So exactly that shake, but what I do is I put in soy milk, a little bit of vanilla. Like I sweeten it up, like frozen pineapple,
Yeah.
a banana, and it's So anyway, then for lunch it's just a big pile of fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
That's it, just raw.
Yeah,
it
right.
takes forever to eat that,
Sure.
And then you're forced to drink water to
Oh, yeah, you
to
got to choke
get
it down.
You
gotta choke it down.
So I'm eating extremely healthy food, drinking a lot of water.
Copious amounts
and
of water.
like that, it felt like I just started healing right.
You just feel it happening.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you back to that kind of diet then? Or I
Yes.
don't want to call it a diet.
Yeah. Every day I just, I'm usually not hungry anyway.
Right.
I don't like eating that early. Most days I don't.
I'm not hungry hardly ever either, but I just force myself to eat.
Like if I'm just doing my normal routine, I usually don't eat till about 2 in the afternoon.
So you were like you were doing the intermittent fasting before it became a trend.
I guess that's how I like to roll.
That's what people,
Maybe a banana.
Yeah.
Maybe.
maybe.
But then having something,
See, that's what I've been doing the intermittent fasting, and I mean, except for like all where you eat from like 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and that's all. You all right?
Yeah. Couldn't find my water.
3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and that's when you eat, and the rest of the time you're fasting, except for like I usually we'll have a bowl of oatmeal in the morning and then like a turkey sandwich or something.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'm not eating anything until 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That's dumb. But yeah, so I can't do it because I have to have breakfast. I have to have it.
Yeah. A lot of people are like that.
It just
Sarah's
I feel
like that.
off, man.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee, breakfast. So yeah, I don't know if I'm meant to be doing the intermittent fasting.
Well, maybe that's how most humans are. And maybe when the aliens were here during the time of the Egyptians, they mated with some of the humans. And some of us have alien, just different DNA. It would explain a lot about my blood, wouldn't it?
What podcast have you been listening to lately? I
teaching a
can always
class
tell
on-
when you've been listening to some crazy.
No, I'm teaching a class right now on aliens.
Are you?
Yeah, it's
How's
so
that
fun.
going?
Oh, they just love it because they're all about the conspiracy stuff at that age.
Well,
most of them,
conspiracy theories are big these days.
Well, I don't mean in a bad way.
all right.
But, yeah, it's fun. It's a good class.
Okay.
And we do it, both sides.
Right.
So.
Right. You know who would be great at the intermittent fasting is Quinn, because on days that she doesn't have to go to school, she sleeps till 2.
Yeah.
So it's easy
If you're
to not eat.
unconscious.
If you're not awake, how can you eat?
Where's Quinn? She should be able to be here to defend herself.
She's asleep. I'm telling you. I promise you.
What time is it?
I don't know. What is
Oh,
it,
it's
like
probably like
12:30? No, she'll just come down here. She'll roll down here in about an hour. She'll look stunned. You got to kind of stay out of her way a little bit for a while.
step away.
Yeah, you just, if you're in the kitchen, you just drop what you're doing and leave.
Hey, at what point did you get old enough where Quinn wasn't whooping up on you? Because it seems like it was pretty late in life. Like right now, if you got in a fist fight with your sister, you could probably take her just from your sheer size. But I feel like that was just recent where that flip-flopped.
Well, it's more of
Quinn's just got
it's
that.
more her aura. I mean, it's from a physical standpoint, Beck, could take her probably when he was 8 or 9, but from she just has this aura
Yeah,
that you don't.
Quinn owns the ground she walks on. And that's what I love.
Right. She's something else. So she's intermittent fasting right now. So on a day off, that's what she does. So
Okay, what were we going to talk about? Because we're talking about intermittent fasting, and I know that was not on the list.
no. No, I mean, I did want to talk to you about school because even though I've been away from the school business for
Yeah.
going on 3 years now, I'm still very curious, especially now because during COVID, it just seems like this would have been an opportunity for people like us who have an alternative education mindset to think of how to operate during this time. And so I was dying to kind of talk shop with people this summer,
Yeah.
but nobody's really
Should've.
interested in talking to me, about that. But I just felt like, I could have had some input. But so far, Southeast Polk seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah.
2 weeks in,
Yep. 2 weeks in.
I've seen some data. Looks good. We're going strong. We're still in school.
Yep. I think the best is the students.
Okay.
Like when I walk around in the hallway, I just figured that it'd be more students not following the rules.
Right.
But I think we have really good students.
We've always had good kids at Southeast Polk. And That's
Yeah.
why I like that. I kind of assumed there would be more.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm
resistance.
sure there's.
I'm sure the
plenty
office
of
has
it.
dealt with some
Yeah.
issues, but overall, I've always felt that. I went to, Des Moines, Lincoln. Southeast Polk is scheduled to play them in a few weeks. If there's some football, that'd be kind of cool. But doesn't look like Des Moines schools are going to be playing football for a while because they're going 100% online, and you can't play football according to Governor Mima, if that's the case. So, anyway, and I worked at Des Moines schools, and so, coming to Southeast Polk was just, well, it was difficult at first because I'm a Lincoln guy, buddy. Still a little bit of a Lincoln guy. See, you don't know because you went to Southeast Polk,
Correct.
but you've worked in other school districts,
Cut me open. I bleed Southeast Polk.
black and gold. But I've always been, that was one of the things that I noted right away is it just seems like 90% of the kids at Southeast Polk want to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They're good kids, and so I'm sure that they're dealing with some issues with the masks, but for the most part, and honestly, I mean, kids might tell you different, but I think a lot of them are just happy they're back in school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Even our sound engineer, although he might say, I don't want to be back in school, he
Hey, you want to hear something crazy?
what's that, buddy?
I absolutely do not want to be back in school.
Yeah, see, he's
I
not,
believe that.
he's not
You
telling.
have like inside knowledge, but I don't.
I know my son better than he knows himself.
No, you don't.
See, here's the thing about our sound engineer. Have you noticed his hair lately?
Yeah.
Okay, our school secretary, Marla,
Mm-hmm.
just told me in a message the other day that he came into the office with a mask on and she didn't recognize him right away, but then figured out it was Beck and told me his hair is so beautiful.
It is.
And this might be the year that he talks to a girl. So we'll see. I mean, I think they're noticing
Just
him.
laughed so hard he spit
Did you?
on his phone or his wrist or something.
Yeah. So, but we'll see what happens. He is a 10th grader. Anything could happen. I know I didn't talk to any girls at that point in my life, so he didn't get it from. And of course, Marta's super shy. So, but with that hair, man, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the door opener
If
right
you
there.
grow it, they will come.
Right. And I had some hair at that age, but it was the mullet. So
Yeah.
I mean, Beck's got this just mane of just beautiful curly hair. So
Okay, not on the list.
not on the list. Do we
Wasn't
even
a-
have a list? We didn't have a list.
Kind of.
All right, but we're back to school. So the structure of the school day at Southeast Polk, every other day they call it a hybrid 2.
Yeah, but we don't roll like that.
Oh, the Harper's doing something different.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell me what they're doing.
Same thing we did.
Really?
Yep.
Any resistance from the kids?
No, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I don't want to jinx it, but our attendance has been unbelievable.
Really?
I think it's been the best it's ever been since I've been to Southeast Polk.
Okay.
But, I mean, who knows how long
The
that'll
best- now-
last.
oh,
but,
whoa,
I think
whoa.
it supports your claim that they're kind of glad to be back.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
I needed a 30-second TO. the best it's ever been since you've been in Southeast Polk? Now, this reminds me.
Not when we're back at the old place.
Okay, because I'm not trying to insert myself into this necessarily, but we had a pretty good thing going back in that old building.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a part of the Iowa Alternative Education Association, Iowa Association of Alternative Education, and the NAEA, I used to talk to people all over the country, and I would tell them that our average daily attendance at the harbor was over 80%, sometimes 85%.
Yeah.
And they would basically call me a liar. And then, but some people around.
I put it together when I was not happy about leaving our building. And then when we got there, I did this spreadsheet, and I
Right.
broke it down on average absences per quarter per student. And it was like a 3.2
Right.
at the harbor. And then, but anyway.
But see,
you know,
well, I'm
doesn't
happy to
take a
hear
genius
that
to
the
figure it
attendance is
out.
outstanding.
Yeah.
So, for the bluster that kids do, is particularly harbor kids about not wanting to go to school. Mm-hmm. They do want to go to school, and particularly they probably miss the harbor. They probably miss that family
Yeah.
feel, and
Well,
and for some of them
hopefully-
maybe it's just so they can get a meal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
okay, so every day you're going every day.
Yeah.
You still doing the Friday makeup Fridays?
Yep. Academic support Friday mornings. So it's going well. I'm going to have to do something a little different with my room. I mean, one of the rules is it's not just getting the virus now. It's if you are have to be quarantined.
Right.
So really trying to make the students aware of every time you're within 6 feet of someone, clock starts ticking.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes, if that adds up to 15 minutes by the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're going to need to be quarantined.
Oh.
So trying to, there's probably some special algorithm of where students would have to move
right.
throughout the day,
Right.
but
So how is that determined? By the way, I talked to Brett Handy a week or two ago, or maybe it was more than that. And I don't think at that point they were even sure how they were going to do it. But the way I kind of envisioned it would be, let's say Beck was, positive, he tested positive. Then are they sitting Beck down and saying, okay, do you ride to school with somebody? Who? Do you have a girlfriend?
yeah.
Who's your best friend? How much have you hung out with him lately, or who do you sit with a lot? I mean, how are they determining? Because I've seen the data, and the data looks great for Southeast Polk. I mean, and the rate of infection and the quarantine. How are they determining who gets?
I don't
quarantined?
know. But I do know that's one of the ways.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know the whole list of questions they go through and all that.
Sure.
But
Okay.
I do know that that's the big one. I mean,
Right. There's all kinds of, kind of nebulous ideas out there about, how to handle that. I mean, who gets quarantined if a kid is positive? How many positive cases would it take to shut down a building?
yeah.
All these things, you can't really
That's
put a
the
hard
whole
number
thing
on
about the whole 90% want to do,
Right. Right.
but you have 10% in
Right.
this equation, it doesn't go well.
it. Right. Right.
But I do believe in the masks. I do.
I believe the
know.
masks too. And like we've talked about before, even if the masks aren't that effective,
Right.
it's not that hard to wear a mask. Just put a mask on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so far so good. And I was happy not only that our kids are back in school, because I think it's good for kids to be in school, even if it's every other day. I know some schools around the state are going 100% online. You all right, buddy? Put your leg
No,
up on my
I'm
thing.
I'm gonna move
Put
it
it up
around.
there, man.
It doesn't mean it hurts. I'm just like when I think about it, I'm gonna
right,
stretch
Swirly
it out.
Dan.
I'm stretching it out. Look at this.
Look at you.
Yeah. It's
Have you
right
started
in
watching Letterkenny yet?
there. I don't
when I
have
call
that
you-
station.
When I call you Squirrely Dan, he's a character on Letterkenny. I mean, it's just. I know there's,
I've been called squirrely before.
maybe I need to give you login credentials so you can watch it. They're like 27 minutes long, Dan. I mean,
All right.
they're hilarious. Okay, I've gone through it for the second time, and I'm laughing even harder.
Did I tell you the other night I logged in? I got an Apple TV so I could watch that Tom Hanks
You bought a new
World
TV?
War. No, the app. You got to watch this new movie of Tom
Oh.
Hanks. And you have to do it through Apple TV.
The streaming service.
Yeah, so we watched it, and that was a good movie, dude.
Okay.
And then I went out and I loaded the trailer with wood because I was just wired up, and it was 12:30 at night. So I get done with that because I was delivering
You
that.
using, Dan?
No, I was delivering that firewood, which I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Stacked the entire thing.
Did
by
everybody
myself.
they answer the right questions the right way?
Well, you know, I like these people. You know,
Okay.
I mean, I know all my customers. Now.
Right. And they
So
know
there's-
what to say and what not to say.
We're cool. Let's just put it that way. You know, but this is a nice older
They're not
couple.
complaining about getting a little extra bark or
No. They're very happy when they come.
no wood for you.
Oh, thank you so much. We love your
Speaking
firewood.
of that, I need some more firewood. I might have to send one of the boys over.
I'll bring one over.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so
It wouldn't be a podcast without a allusion to my wife in some way.
you said that, not me.
Okay.
You have illusion. Okay. What the hell was I talking about?
Wood.
How'd I get to firewood?
I don't know, man. Where'd that come from? Oh, you were watching TV. Apple
Oh yeah.
TV.
So then I went in and I'm like, well, let's see what's on this Apple app. You know,
Right.
boom, documentary on the Beastie Boys.
yeah. I
It was
want to watch that.
So awesome.
I want to watch that. I've got the book in my Kindle, and I haven't read it all.
And see, you had said at one point, like to me, they were always just the Beastie Boys. You know, I was a licensed to ill guy back in the
Yeah,
day.
no, Paul's Boutique.
But then you had some insight on the band, and you had talked to me about it.
Right.
So I already kind of had that foundation.
Right.
Love that, because that's what we do with the students. You give them a little
Yep.
background knowledge.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
so that I think that made it more interesting to me.
Yep,
But
yep.
next thing you know, 2:30, 3 in the morning, it's finally done, and I'm
Right.
still
Right.
wired up.
Yeah, Beastie Boys. I saw somebody had posted on Facebook about your 5 favorite bands from the 80s, your 5 from the 90s, and all that. Beastie Boys definitely from the 90s would be for me. Yeah, and they have an interesting story because they're just 3 Jewish kids from Brooklyn or
Yeah.
around that area. Their parents are all like professors and all these very erudite backgrounds, and they decided to make a hip hop band.
Yeah.
And then their first album was fun, but they didn't think that it was going to be
Right.
big. And then
They weren't. They didn't feel like they were making music at that
Paul's
point.
Boutique is a masterful album. It's the best album they've made.
And it's the one that didn't do well.
And it didn't do it didn't do well. So I would definitely put the Beastie Boys, my top 5 of the 90s, and Paul's Boutique.
So you haven't seen this documentary?
No,
then?
I haven't yet because I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
But, it'll come on eventually. So, but yeah.
Oh, you can use my. Is it illegal for me to say it out loud? Maybe you could find someone and they would loan you their Apple ID.
And maybe somebody can loan you their Hulu
Hey,
login.
you know. Anyway,
I don't know how that works. I'd have to talk to the technical
Did you ever
team.
have one of the black boxes? I feel like the what's it when enough time goes by you can't be convicted.
the
Statute of limitations has probably gone by.
Statute.
I had one of those,
Oh, yeah?
and a guy I knew at Dell, like just told you what to order, and he like it was hooked up to a computer, my
Right.
TV. It was like now it would be no big deal, but it was like 1,000 channels, you know.
You can do that now.
And but at some point I got a letter and it was because of stuff I had bought, I think,
Oh.
for it, and it. Oh, my dad opened up the letter because I was living with them, Sarah and I, when we had
Right.
moved back from Texas. It was a low time for me.
Right.
Couldn't build the house until we did the cul-de-sac, and my dad opens up this letter, and it's like, "You're gonna go to jail, and you owe us $250,000."
I got one of those.
Oh, and I read it, and my dad goes, "What are you going to do with that?" And I just looked at my dad and went, threw it in the garbage and went to bed.
Yep.
And we never talked about
We're
it.
talking about it. There was nothing we could do. I got a letter like that about 15 years ago. I think it was ish. Back when like Napster was out, where you're, you could stream music, but it was, like borrowed files, but it was really not legal technically. And then so I get a letter. I think it was for that. Basically the same thing. You're stealing. This is piracy. It's a felony. Class 3.4. It had a bunch of technical bullshit in it, and I just went. At first, I went, "Oh no!" And then I read it again. I'm like, I mean, there's millions of us doing it. I mean, what are they all going to do to us?
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't even I was barely dipping into it. So I
wonder how many people call up and go, "Who do I make the check out
Yeah,
to?"
well-
250,000, right?
You caught the tater.
Now, will I get a confirmation when
Right.
this goes through?
I'm sure that's what they're looking for. So, but you can still do that. Allegedly, I've heard. I don't do it, but you could jailbreak an Amazon Fire and get every channel out there. And people do that stuff.
Jailbreak. That's like what someone like your son would do to it.
He could. I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure either of them probably could.
That's like a superpower to me.
It's
Like
superpower
people
to me.
who can do that kind of stuff.
I know. It's
Hey, aliens.
aliens.
I'm just saying, if there was ever mixed breeding with aliens, which it makes sense that there
Right.
could be,
Right.
we might have alien DNA in us.
Dan, did something happen to you? Did you get
Why
probed?
is that so? Do you Christian people believe that Jesus died and 3 days later
Yeah.
he walked around? Do
Yeah.
you call them crazy?
No. I
And
think
you think it's crazy to see?
You know what? People can
Once I
believe.
start throwing logic into this,
Yeah.
it gets tough. You've
I think
been
there's
programmed.
I think there's a way to balance out those beliefs with logic.
Wow.
whole-
Fair. I'm just saying.
The whole
there's
7-day, created the earth type thing.
we've all
Did they
been
literally
programmed.
mean a day? How long did a day last back then? You know what I mean? And was he really dead?
I don't
or was
know
he
what
just
you
like
mean.
kind of sleepy? You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm
Jeez.
gonna alienate a bunch of people right now.
Hat pun.
That's called the
Not
Lazarus
intended.
effect, by the way. There is a. We saw that.
Yes. Moving on. Here we go.
Anyway, so.
So what else is on the list?
Well, you know what? I don't have a lot on my list. You're looking at it. This has been me for 3 weeks, sitting in a chair. I can't do much. I went out to Beck's football game last week, going to his game tonight, and this is going to be it for the next, I don't know, a couple weeks until I can really start getting around. Been doing a lot of fantasy football stuff, which I know you're huge into.
Yeah. If you would give me a chance,
I had 2 drafts last
you wouldn't
night.
even let me come. But then I found out it wasn't. Like I pictured it was a bunch of people.
Yeah. Well, it's usually
Together.
But now, with COVID, most of them are online.
Yeah.
Like I have a draft tonight at 4:00 in the Daryl Butcher League. And we usually, like last year, we got together in this sweaty garage and drafted with 4 fans, and I couldn't hear a goddamn word that was being said because I'm deaf. So now we're doing it online, which will be better for me. But I like the camaraderie. I like to be able
Yeah.
to see people. And so, so fantasy football's big, and we don't even know what the season's really going to look like with COVID. We might have teams shut down. We don't know, but I'm hooked, Dan. I've been doing it for, how long have you been doing fantasy football?
I just thought about
25 years.
Oh, really?
25 years.
Man,
I started a league 25 years ago that's still going on.
that's pretty cool.
I don't run it anymore. My friend Kurt runs it, but yeah. Yeah, 25 years I started. That's when I was keeping score with a paper and pencil, and I was getting the newspaper on Monday with the box scores and adding it all up. And now the computer does everything for you. It's so easy. And I even typed up a newsletter every week.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. We should have talked about the shark that they had to shoot down.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. We should have had.
We should have had that queued up.
Right.
But maybe some people did see it. I'm sorry. Fantasy football.
No. That's really all I've got going on right now.
Did you see the tennis player that got kicked out of the game or whatever for hitting the ref with the ball?
The tennis player?
Yeah.
I know. He was just.
What was he doing?
He was just. I think he was mildly frustrated. The ball came and he was going to
he
knock
hit
it back to one of the two of the ball boys or girls or
But
whatever.
he did it with like some
and
extra
he
hit.
put a little effort up behind a little mustard.
And it just went
right in her throat.
Oh, man.
Right in the throat. So, yeah, fantasy football, man.
I thought about that, and
Yep.
then I started laughing.
Yep.
That's terrible.
So, been watching a lot of TV. Been hitting some movies occasionally.
Yeah.
And then when you're like this, Dan, when you can't really see, I don't see you surviving something like this. See, this is not for you.
No.
You cannot,
That's why I don't want to do that MRI.
3 weeks. Yeah, but at worst, it'd be like a
Scope.
scope, and you can still move around with
Yeah.
a scope.
That's not at worst.
If you had to sit at
That's not at worst. That's at best.
Oh, well, at worst it could be. Well, at worst it'd be like
Anyway.
an ACL, but you've been working out since then, so I don't know if it's an ACL. If it's an ACL, you would not.
Most people would not.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
okay,
We only know what we know,
right.
you know.
Such a crock of shit.
I'm saying I probably have some. I could have some major tear, but my, aversion to pain, or that's not the right way to say it, right? Pain.
aversion.
like-
Aversion means you
Yeah,
don't want
right.
pain.
yeah. So what's the opposite of that? Like
You're
you can handle pain, or
yeah.
you just,
Okay. Right. Yeah, there is a term for that that's escaping me right now. That frustrates me a little bit, but
That's what's weird is
Yeah.
when they ask someone, scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain? That's never made sense to me.
right.
Like, I feel like I got to up it a little bit.
Really? To impress
Yeah,
them?
because my real number is going to seem on the low side,
Right. Well,
so I want the good stuff. So,
Right,
yeah,
right.
10. Okay,
the good
10.
stuff like I got over here
But,
behind me. Oh shoot! You see what I got behind me?
Jeez, looks
I got
like
some oxycodone back there.
Dude, people break into people's houses. You got it in the fucking window, and you're announcing it on
Bring
your
it.
podcast.
You think Paco?
You better get a
You
gun.
think Paco is gonna sit by and let somebody break in?
That's true. That's true. If you're watching this, it ain't worth. How many do you have? It isn't worth it because
I've only taken a
Paco will bite your nuts
I've
off.
only taken a handful too.
Come here.
Quinn asked me if I, like the second or third day after surgery, she said, "Have you been taking any?" I said, "Yeah, I just took one." She goes, "Are you nodding?" And I didn't know that was a term. And I'm
Nodding?
like, nodding. Like, what are you talking about? And that's a term for people who apparently pop pain pills and then it makes you like kind of nod off a little bit.
Well,
Quinn knows all the terminology.
there's been some nodding going on in classes. It does take a few weeks for these students, and they're coming every day.
Right.
So
That's more because they've been staying up till 5 in the morning
Exactly.
and now they're
I don't think they're all hacked up on.
nah, not all of them. Maybe a few.
I think we never did talk anything about politics, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I do.
How much time are we on?
40 minutes.
Ooh,
Yeah, we're doing
that's a
pretty well.
good one. And
Yeah.
this is our season opener, right?
Season opener, season 3, episode 1 for no reason at all. That's what we're going to call it. 12 episodes per season.
Oh,
So
the shark story, real quick.
the shark story, right?
If you get a chance, that was the best one.
That was a good one.
I called Joel and I'm like, "Have you seen the shark video?" He goes, "What? I heard about it." And if you didn't see it, it's Coast Guard. A bunch of guys are in the water doing some kind of training exercise. So they have their snorkels on and their face masks, and there's like 2 boats there. The video's coming from this boat. Well, apparently a shark had swam in, and they had a dude on Shark Watch.
Right.
I remember they said Shark Watch. So
Right.
so he ends up having to take some shots at
the shark.
Well, I don't think he was trying to hit the shark. He's trying to divert it. That's what they said. They did. They said it.
Is that what you could divert a shark by
Oh.
shooting near it? Okay.
Yeah,
Whatever. Hey, Dave, that's what they said.
You know,
Right.
if he was trying to hit it and missed, that would be a nice thing to say. Now, I can tell you when you shoot into the water, the light is reflected. You can't shoot
Refracting.
where it is. Whatever.
Right.
Okay, so when he shoots, all these guys either start doing the hard back
Yeah, they're trying to get
swim
the hell out of there.
or just doing the turn and
Yeah, right.
one guy, and I said, there's one guy that does it right. Call me when you watch it, and just watch for the one guy doing something different from everybody else. And so you pulled it up while we're on the phone, and you're like,
It was hilarious.
the guy, he just couldn't even talk because you were laughing.
He wasn't even hardly
You
moving
go, the guy that's pretending to be dead?
with his face in the water.
I said, yes, that guy, but he's not pretending to be dead. He was circling, dude. He had his face down, he was circling, and he was waiting to see if that shark wanted to do a little drive-by like they do, and he was going to punch him right in the effing face.
That's right. That's right. A day in fantasy world, right
yes,
there.
I have dirt dived that so many times.
I'm sure
That's
that
a
you have.
skydiving term.
That was the second thing I thought of after I watched it. I'm like, I'm sure Dan has put himself in that scenario.
Yeah, the salt water would burn my eyes, but
Right.
you can take that if you have
Sure.
to. You know,
Do you think you could knock a
or
shark
just like
out,
quick
Dan?
glimpse. No, you wouldn't knock them out, but they're a predator.
Stun 'em?
Not even that, but give them something they don't want. And
Something to think about.
predators don't want to have to fight if they don't have to.
I think Mike Tyson could knock out a shark. Have you seen
Underwater, though,
it? Have you seen his training videos lately? He's 54, bro.
yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
I'm
he's
talking
vicious.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
But I think he could. I think he could knock a shark out. If a shark.
But his punch is going
can
to be
be knocked
different
unconscious.
underwater.
Yeah, I think he could do it.
Probably.
I mean, a short hit like a straight jab. I mean, a straight right from
That's
Mike
assuming
Tyson.
that sharks can get.
You know what
knocked
though?
out
He's
like we
famous
do.
for his uppercuts. He would uppercut that shark right under the chin. Does the shark have a chin?
All I'm saying is, if you punch a shark hard in the face,
Yeah.
they're gonna not want to come
Right on
back
the
over.
nose, because that'll make his eyes water.
Yep. Or if he like did his little thing, and I kind of
What would he do?
got the hooks in, you know, he's
Oh.
coming in, and then got up
Here
on
it is.
and you get those both thumbs into his eyeballs.
In his eyeballs, or how about in his gills? Do they have gills? They have gills, right? They have
Anyway.
right.
All right, well,
That same day, Dan, was my favorite video lately of the little kid, the little girl that was out to sea outside of Greece on the floaty unicorn. She was
Yeah.
like a mile out. So she was playing on the beach with her parents on a giant floaty unicorn, and all of a sudden her parents look and she's going out to sea. And what are you going to do if you're a parent? You don't have a boat. You're going to try to swim after her.
Oh, my
And
God.
some ferry, you know, a ferry that like
I know what you meant.
brings cars and people from one
Exactly
area
what
to
I
another.
pictured.
Guy pulled up beside her, and this guy grabbed her, and he looked so pissed for some reason. And that's what made me laugh. He was like holding her under his arm like a sack of
like,
potatoes.
"God
and
damn it."
it looked like if the parents were there, he'd have punched him right in the face.
Well,
But
yeah.
yeah, she was way out there on a floating
And a little
unicorn.
thing, I
Yeah.
never even saw it. You told me to look it up.
You
and I
did-
just,
you said
I
you-
forgot to. I got distracted.
Okay, that's a good one too. But
All right, we'll do it here in a bit. All
all
right.
right. So we're good.
I think we're good.
Okay, man. Well,
It's been a while.
Yeah, we need to get back on this pretty soon, in the next week or two. I know we always say that, but
Do you know why you need to get your ankle healed soon? so you can
So
go
I can
fuck
walk?
yourself.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Love you, bro.
All right, love you, buddy.